Hi, good evening, one and all present here. I'm Alisha Patnaik, your host for today evening. Firstly, I'd like to welcome you all to Codatas' first first internship pre-placement talk for 2023 batch. Today, we are going to have a talk with a very influential and a very thoughtful leader of IT industry, our very own CEO, Mr. Mitul. So, for any questions or any query, please mention in our comment section. We'll address those questions at the end of the talk. Without any further delay, I hand over the call to Mr. Mitul. Mitul, please.
Thanks a lot, Alicia. And thanks for the warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very, very much for joining this call today. It's a very important call for me because it's a very large responsibility that I have today to be able to convey the importance of this phase of your life for all of you. So, for all of you who are joining the call right now, who are on the call, I'll give you a little bit of structure on how this call is going to go. So you can you know what to expect. So for those of you, maybe if it doesn't fit your current evening's plans, you can choose to drop off or listen. So I will go into a lot of discussion around. First part is why this is going to be very, very important for you, independent of the company we are talking about, independent of Coditas. I'll start with my personal background. I'll come to why internships are important, what to look for in an internship, because I totally feel that this is a super important phase in your life, and you should pay a lot of attention to it. And how to choose the right internship and how it determines your career and theoretically life going forward. The details of the internship will be given down the line, so you can, if you want only that, you can choose to join, come back after 15-20 minutes, probably. But it's advisable for each of you to just sit and maybe learn from all our experiences around this. So I'll start right away about me, and the idea is that you if you are going to hear some advice from me or some inputs from me, it's better that you know who I am and what my background is, so that you can relate to some of the inputs I give you. So some things I maybe have experience which you may or may not experience. But it's always better to know the person who's going to be giving you advice, their background, so that you can put it in context, right? Everyone in this call will be having a very separate background, a very separate context of how they come where they are. So there's no single black and white advice, there's no single black and white input. It's always going to be customized and dependent on your own personal background, expectations, contexts, responsibilities, constraints, and everything. So great. About me. So, as Alisha and everyone know, my name is Mitul. I'm the founder CEO of Coditas, and the journey about Coditas largely began with me, and my journey began with me doing my engineering. So I was in the same place you are almost 20 years ago, less than 20 years ago. And I also sat down through pre-placement talks in anticipation, and I learned a lot during those days. But I wish I knew a little bit more. And that's maybe what I'll try to share today. So I did my engineering from IIT Bombay, computer science BTech. So it was in the year from 2000 to 2004, and I graduated in the year 2004. I worked in the industry, software services, software industry in India for 10 years overall, before starting Coditas. That's largely my career background. I had a lot of other entrepreneurial side uh, businesses which I tried parallelly, which did not work out. So, just for your information, but I think the primary reason which I want to talk about was Coditas, and why Coditas is something which I like to answer right now, so that you guys know the context about Coditas. But I'll go into the after this into why internship and how important. So for me, starting Coditas was to answer a specific need and something which I was very very passionate about. So when I was working as a software developer from the year 2004 2014 in India, I was very fortunate to have worked with international teams of software developers. So either as part of my teams or online forums, or a lot of friends I had met in person at software meetups in say in San Francisco in US or in other parts of the world, or on online forums, on Reddit forums, on Stack Overflow forums, and all that. I used to get some of this feedback about software which was being built out of India. And this was coming from friends of mine who I had built, who had become friends over the course of my career. And these friends were giving me this feedback about how software which was being built out of India was not of that great quality. Right? This was feedback coming from friends, and they were being giving me feedback for me to improve. And it was not a condescending feedback, or not something about us not being up to the mark. And they were just talking about how, in general, the software which was being written out of India was not of the great quality. And when they were giving this feedback to me, one of the things I was aware of, unfortunately, was that they're very right. The feedback which was coming was not a, a feedback which was not correct. And the concerning part was that it was a reflection of me as a developer out of India. All my peers are out of India. But the saddest part in this entire story was that it was not at all reflecting our capability, right? As software developers, as my peers and my friends in India, it was not that we were not capable. There was a very different problem on why we were where we were. So the history of software development in India has been that it grew very rapidly as an industry, right? If you look at some of the large software houses, if you look at the rise in the team sizes, the growth of the organizations, including the top few software companies in India, they grew very very rapidly, and the management also grew very rapidly. So it was more or less becoming that if you look at any large software company today, which has a few tens of thousands of people under them, if you look at the management layer, either the management has never coded in their life or written software in their life, or they did it a few decades ago. They are practically disconnected from the actual day to day of software development. And over a period of time, it totally became solving business problems. And there's nothing wrong in a software trying to solve a business problem, but they lost the aspect around the craftsmanship, around how to build the software the right way, which actually usually made more business sense, the clean way, the quality way, right? And that is where I was very passionate about. I was very fortunate to have undergone some great mentorship, some great capabilities around code quality, in particular this entire terminology called clean code, which I was very passionate about and which I wanted to bring about as a change. And that's something I wanted to start off as the company was just built to build quality software, right? We were out here to change the way people build software. And the intention was not necessary to grow or scale or really make it where we are today. So, we've honestly outdone ourselves. Just to give you an idea, when we started, we had no idea where we will be. So we started this company 7.5 years ago. And if you'd asked me 7.5 years ago, where do you want this company to be in 7.5 years, or say 10 years, I would have said, if we are a 50 people team doing say 10 crores of revenue, we would be very successful. And today we are 750 people doing more than 150 crores in revenue with no funding, no external funding. No one has funded us. No sales marketing, everything built from scratch by ourselves, no debt, no liabilities. And we're doing really well. Why? Not because we're doing something not because you're of me or some individual person. It's simply because we focus on the fundamental aspect about work, which is quality. So Coditas came to address just one problem, and is that build software the right way, build software in the cleanest possible way, build quality software, right? And yep, I will now just try to end this with a small anecdote from my something which I love as a story. So lately, by the way, a warning. So for those of you who probably end up joining Coditas, or if you see me again, you'll hear the story again. But do remember that I'll repeat it. And it's a story about a carpenter. And it's one of the favorite stories I know and I love. The story is about a carpenter who was working on a backside of a cupboard, right? And the carpenter was using his best craftsmanship and taking his best time to work on the back side of a cupboard. And someone was passing by and asked him, why are you wasting your time on the back side of a cupboard, right? Why don't you just take ply, nails, and hit it and be done with it? No one will know. Kisi ko malum nahi padega. You know, the carpenter replied, I will know. मुझे मालूम पड़ेगा. This is my work first. ये मेरा काम पहले है. Whatever I produce as an output has to first match my standards. Every output I produce is a reflection of me first. Every software that I build is mine first. I first work for myself. The quality of my output should match my standards first. Very simple thing by a carpenter, but life changing for me. And I personally underwent this transformation where I started writing clean code. I started enjoying my work and started really making progress in overall what I wanted. So that's a very small learning from a very simple story, that when you produce quality, you're first showing what it is about you. You are reflecting yourself, right? And I really wanted to build an organization which focused on that, right? Build software the right way, build software which is quality, which software is proud of. It is something which, no matter how much you earn, how much, if you, this pride is just a totally different pride. Okay, anyway, so this is a little bit of history about me and Coditas and why Coditas. But I'll now come to the part, which is you guys, right? This period of internship, what does internship entail and how you should approach it, right? So this is now generic, and I really want to let you guys know this is a super important part of your life. In fact, it can determine your career and potentially life going forward if you choose this wisely. Internships are period which allow you to find out what you really want to do, all right, and use it wisely, right? So you really want to make the best out of internship, because in a lot of internships you can come out of the commitment at a lower risk and lower responsibility if things are not matching, right? And internships allow you to experience the real world in a safe environment. You're still in college, you're still not responsible for earning the bread for the family, right? And you can kind of try to experiment a bit. That's part one. But part two is that internships also allow you to get a foot in the door for your career, right? So if in a lot of places where you do internship and where you do internship well, you'll get the placement offer over there. So the Coditas does that. Coditas, we offer internships with the intention of converting all the interns to permanent roles. So our internship is not pure internship. We are looking at final semester internships which will convert to full-time roles, and the entire internship is geared towards this. In fact, our internship is primarily aimed towards training people first, right? Training people in the right way of software building. And as long as you do well, you will be getting into the permanent role at Coitas. We are out there to look for good talent. We are out there to look for the best folks who are focused and passionate about building software the right way. We are not necessarily saying that you have to have the required skills upfront. We will train you from scratch. Of course, we want people with the best logic and aptitude and attitude be there, but we will train. So coming back to the internship. So at this stage, I would totally make sure you make be conscious about it and try to choose the right place for you. A small note around this, when I was at your stage and I was your age, and most people at your stage and age do not know a lot of differences between companies, between the quality of work, between the different technologies, and we are in a confused state, right? And typically the easiest choice and what people usually chase, they make a choice is, which is the highest package CTC I'm going to get, and I'll take that, right? Which is not necessarily a wrong way of going about it. A lot of high CTC companies are usually companies which can pay well are generally, by rule of thumb, probably good companies, right? Because they're able to pay well, right? But that not necessarily mean a lot going forward in the longer term. So I would If I have a choice and if I can evaluate between quality of work and where I will learn, and if it's a choice, between say numbers and that, it always makes sense to first focus on where will I learn more, where will I add value more. I'll give you real numbers right now. So today, okay, internship aside, starting placement salaries in India have gone easily at 5 to 6 lakhs per annum for everyone, right? And that's becoming standard for all fresh graduates who graduate software. And so next year, whenever you guys get your first job, it'll be in that range or above that. Now, so all of you will be in the similar bracket in that range. But where it will start making from 10 years from that period, right? So you take a 10-year horizon, and that's where you'll see a very large variance. Some of you will end up at a CTC or of say 30 lakhs per annum, and some of will be at 1 crore an annum. And that's I'm talking real numbers today. So 10 years from now it will be much higher and much different from that. So what is the difference between the 30 and 1 CR at that point of time? It's nothing to do with your college or your background. It's the choice of the career path that you took, right? Those who focused and chose a career path where they built the strong fundamentals in their first part of the career, those who built their fundamentals in technology really well, those who strongly built their concepts to be really good at what they are, they start shining, and then the world is at their door, at the footsteps. So there is no substitute to you building your career your way, the right way, right? As in, you must focus on building your fundamentals totally strong, right? All said and done, salaries are a function of demand and supply, right? When you're graduating, the supply is very large because all of you are graduating together. That's why the numbers will be largely standardized, right? Then those who continue to focus more on themselves, on value addition, that's where they start becoming more valuable than the rest for themselves and for the organizations. And that's where you see that the demand for them, because the supply now reduces, right? So, and I've seen that over and over, that anyone who continues to be really good at what they do, they'll command better value, and the value rises at a faster pace. So I don't know if I'm able to get this across, but make sure, if you get a chance, if you get to choose, if you understand what role and job you're going for, you pay attention to the quality of work, quality of peers, and quality of your everything around you first, right? A lot of you will have the choice. Some of you may not have it. Like some of you may be constrained to become earning upfront. And I'm not saying compromise on salary. That's not the message here at all. The message is not here. I'm just saying, do not make judgments purely based on salary when you are starting your career, right? At the same time, Coditas is a good paymaster. Coditas is actually amongst the best paymaster. This is not a note about Coditas. I'm not trying to convince anyone to join at a lower number. I'm giving you a reality that please, when you are focusing on building your career, pay attention to what value addition you are getting beyond the numbers. And this comes from me, and I've experienced this, and this is something as simple. If you want this as one simple message out of this entire discussion, is this, right? Even if you don't understand what Coditas is, what everything else, if you just take one point, that in the first few years of your career, what should be the focus? You should be the focus. Building yourself should be the focus. And a lot of career options, including Coditas, after you join Coditas, we forget your education. We in fact, at Coditas, we don't even look at degrees. We don't even look at whether you had backlogs, whether you got a degree or not, whether you are top of the class or bottom of the class. Of course, your fundamentals, if you're good, I'm not saying college is not good. If you did well, it'll be easier for you to do well, because it's assumed that you know stuff more. But if you are not doing well in college, that does not mean anything, as long as you start well again, right? The simple message: focus on yourself first. Make sure that you take a role and opportunity where you are growing. Now, how do you identify such opportunities where you will do well, right? I think it's relatively difficult, but at the same time not impossible. And if you do your research well, you'll know that. Number one is as simple as talk to your peers and seniors, especially, right, who probably are in those organizations where you want to apply. They'll give you a very clear picture about that organization, right? They'll tell you the real learning opportunities beyond the salary. They'll tell you the kind of project opportunities, the kind of technology opportunities, the kind of client interaction opportunities, the kind of responsibility, the kind of ownership that will generally come from people who are already in the organization, right? You try to read up more, research more, find out more from social media. Most companies are on social media. You'll get reviews, feedback about those companies on social media. Try to go for companies where learning and development is given importance, where you will be trained more, where you will be where you get back value as well. The company gets value from you, but even the value is added back to you. I try to go in companies where there is a relatively flat hierarchy, where the management understands technology as well, where this technology and engineers are as respected as anyone else. And those are the kind of places I would recommend, right? Try to go companies where you would be judged on your merit and not based on your years of experience, or based on your college marks. Your performance in your college should be a thing of the past, and everything should be now just based on your how you do, your race, your gender, your religion. Nothing should matter. Only your work should matter. Those are factors you should look into in an organization. Now coming back to code, now is where I try to sell you why Coditas, right? And this is coming back. So we are very very clear on all those aspects, right? We've, as I mentioned earlier, we are focused on quality. Number one, we are focused on team building. We are a people first company. See, whatever I learned as an employee in the first 10 years of my career, I have looked at, as I was an employee, and I looked at the other side very well, and I wanted to change a lot of things, and I brought a lot of things into Coditas. Very very simple things like work life balance. Super big proponent about it. I never allow our team members to work late nights or weekends. We are very clear that you should have a life after work. I want team members to have an equal balance, right? People first culture means that your team should not be stressed, our team should get importance, and our team should learn. We have focused, dedicated learning and development function within the organization. We have classrooms in our office. We have dedicated trainers, whereby we want to make sure that people learn coding the right way. People learn technology the right way. There's a formal training program. After the formal training program, there is a live projects available. After the live projects is when you now enter the real world, where you start contributing. At Coditas, you will not be stopped from talking to a client, even if you're a fresher, right? We have zero such inhibitions of allowing or not allowing. There is no criteria for you to go to talk to a client or raise your opinion or have a thought around it, right? It's openness is encouraged and talked about. We are a truly flat organization, right? So people who in the organization who want to reach out to me, they can just walk in, right? They have my WhatsApp number, they have my phone number, they have my email ID, Slack, Hangout. They can come in and reach me or anyone in the organization in any leadership position without, and there is we are like there is no process. You don't have to reach out to someone to reach out to anyone in the organization. It's a truly flat organization. We do have a org chart, okay, which goes top to bottom, but that doesn't say, because that's required for administrative purposes. But in reality, the person on top of the org chart is actually working for you, or rather no one is working for anyone else. It's a role that everyone plays. So that's about a little bit of why Coditas. Now, I might have confused you into not knowing what Coditas actually does, right? So it's very simple. We help our clients build their software. Okay, we never own the software ourselves. We work on software products for our clients. The idea is, I can explain to you today. If someone came up with a new idea, so for example, someone wants to build, uh, maybe a WhatsApp. Maybe WhatsApp came up with an idea. So the WhatsApp idea person has an idea, but they're not technical enough. So they come to Coditas, where we will help them on every stage, right? So we are a one-stop shop for building any software product end to end. So right from the user experience, right? Before that is the requirement gathering, then the user experience design. So we have a dedicated UI UX team which just does design on design tools, zero code written, right? User first user experience is created, whereby usability of the product is given attention to. Once the user experience is created, there is a architecture which we take care of, software architecture, on how, what is the right software stack, what is the right technology framework, what is the right cloud choice, what is the right data stores choice. Everything is taken into account. Architecture is created, then a development is done, whereby code is written on building the software. Parallel to the code being deployed is quality assurance, is project management, is business analysis, which is taken care of. Additionally, if there's a lot of data around it, we can do data analytics, we can do business intelligence, we can do machine learning. Everything Coditas does end to end in one under one roof, right? So we build software products for our clients end to end. We are typically working in long-term engagements. We are like, we have clients who've been working with us for the last 7 years, 6 years. We are continuously building the product and enhancing it and taking it to the next level. Most of our clients are in the US, and we are, in a lot of cases, we own the entire technology stack for them. We are even involved in decision making in building the software for them, right? A lot of our software is used by billions of people, right? And we are ourselves, we consider ourselves as technology and domain agnostic. We don't want to focus on a particular technology or a particular problem statement, where we want to be open to solving problems, is the way we look at it, right? So today we have software, we are working with clients where we are building software to be able to detect cancer based on your genome, for example. Or we are also building software which are going to use to manage horses. Goro, manage. You look at the range. You have software to manage horses in a stable, right? And you have cancer detection in genome. So yeah, we have people working on travel and loyalty, sales automation, e-commerce, healthcare, remote devices, IoT, you name it. We've built more than 300 applications today, end to end. And the biggest USP across all this is that we make sure our clients get value. Our clients are happy with what we do. And before clients are happy, we are happy. We want to be proud of our work. We are very passionate about our work. We want to make sure our clients understand this, right? We understand our importance first. We build that, and our clients are understanding this. That's why if you heard earlier, I said we've grown this team without funding, right? We are 750 people today, 150 crores plus in revenue, zero funding, zero debt, zero liability. We are super profitable. We are funding ourselves. We own our office spaces. We don't have sales and marketing because we're building or software the right way, we're creating value for our clients, right? Um, so that's what we do. I will preempt and answer some questions upfront, because one very common question I usually get is which technology, which framework. I already answered indirectly. It doesn't make a lot of difference. You can be good in any technology, any framework. All of them are useful. I'm not talking about you being in the old mainframe COBOL edges. We don't do. We do all cutting edge, new age stuff. We experiment with a lot of technologies, but at the same time, we don't say you tie yourself to the technology. My myself am full stack. I work across technologies. I've done front end, back end, systems programming. I've done a lot of programming, and the idea is if your concepts are strong and well established, you will be able to do anything, right? Today, if someone will ask me which is better, Angular, React, doesn't make a difference, right? Doesn't make a difference whether you should be a backend developer, front end developer, full stack developer. Those are very small things in the larger scheme of things. You can be all of it, right? The But be the best in whatever you do, right? The best Angular developer or the best React developer, both will earn the same, both will enjoy the work the same, and there's very very little difference in the kind of impact that they can make. Whereas it's a lot of technology choices are usually not even based on the technology's advantage. Sometimes the choice is made based on what the client preferred, what the CTO preferred, or what was available, what was the license cost. Those are sometimes the choices are made. But as long as your fundamentals are strong, the technology will keep on changing, the framework will keep on changing, but you will continue being relevant. So, to answer your question on the technology upfront, there is no single technology which is right. Java, Node, Python, Ruby on Rails, Go, whatever you name it, all are good and relevant, right? And they'll keep on evolving as long as you have you updating yourself. So it's very important for you to update yourself. I'll preempt another question, right? Around what is the background you need to come into Coditas or any other internship, which are similar. So, when I'm looking for someone to join our team, I look at three main things, right? Number one thing, which is very, very difficult for me to analyze, the top thing is attitude, right? In terms of attitude, uh, the way I give this example commonly is, what I usually, since I come from IIT Bombay, and you know, I half the time I get this question, why are IITs different? What is different about it? And I keep on getting this question very regularly, and the answer does not lie in the college, or the peers, or they. I think I've met a lot of non-IITians who are equivalently good, but what makes, I think, IITians different is, number one is the attitude, right? So that attitude came from them overcoming the first obstacle in the life, is a JE, right? JE is one of the most difficult exams in the world, right? Not only in India. And to crack that, exam, you have to have an attitude which is as simply put in Hindi, कर सकता हूँ मैं, right? I can do it. Someone with the attitude, if someone else can do it, I can do it, is the number one attitude I'm always looking for, right? If you have that attitude, you'll do well in life. And that attitude is difficult for someone to teach you. That has to come from within you. So number one thing I always look for, irrespective of technology, framework, background, is attitude. Number two, of course, needed. I'm not saying it will go, your attitude only does not make it, but number two is aptitude. Aptitude is your ability to solve logical problems, ability to solve problems. So aptitude is something which is relatively easier to analyze and find from an attitude. In an interview setting, you can find aptitude. And the third part is skill. Now, skill is important, but the list of the skill is Java, Node, Angular, React. And for freshers, I don't even care about that, right? Freshers, that can be taught. So as long as your attitude and aptitude is right, is something which we are very clear about. One thing at Coditas, which we actually focus on more than anything else, is communication skills. Now, this is because we work with international clients. All our clients are based in the US or UK. All of them use English as the mean of communication. Now, I want to make sure everyone understands this message very clearly. Okay, I am at now, and this I'll put the disclaimer first. I'll put the uh, uh, other point first before anyone is. English is not the better language. Okay, there are far more better languages. English is not the best language or even close to it. But the reality is that if you know English well and speak English well, it'll help you more than anyone in the career. I repeat this, right? I am not at all implying that, English is the only language or the better language. In fact, most Indian languages are better languages in many aspects if you want to evaluate a language technically, right? From a speaking perspective, from a grammar perspective, from a punctuation, whatever you want to call it, right? For a vocabulary perspective. English, unfortunately, has become the de facto largest communication language in the world due to various reasons, colonization, globalization, whatever you want to call it. But that's the reality. That's the reality today. So I'll tell you one very simple thing, right? And this is something I want you to learn. Okay, like, forget culture, forget tradition, forget nationalism right now. This is something which I want you to understand very, very clearly. And I want to make sure that you don't take this message wrong. If there are two people out in the career right now, one who has excellent technical skills and average communication skills in English, particularly, and second is who has excellent communication skills in English and average technical skills otherwise. Guess who will be perceived to be better? Who has a higher probability to do better in the industry? This is very, very unfortunate, and I'm saying repeat, it's unfortunate. The person who's communicating well in English better has a higher chance of success in, I'm talking about the real world. Okay, and do not misquote me, do not take this wrong. I'm giving you this as an honest opinion right now, that your ability to do communicate well in English in particular in this particular industry, especially at Coditas, is going to be a benefit to you. Okay, at no point I'm saying it's a better language or whatever, but please mark my words. If you are not good in English communication and you want to have a better chance at your career, I would strongly recommend you improve your English communication skills. And because we at Coditas are aware of this fact, from business perspective, we are clear about this. Okay, objectively, we want to have people who can communicate well in English. That is going to be filter criteria for us. It has nothing to do with your technical abilities. I agree and I understand. But in the context of Coditas, in the context of us delivering solutions to our clients, in the context of us having to able to talk to our clients and them explain to us and we explain to them back on a daily basis, that communication is very, very important. And that is not just in English, it's over soft skills. Communication is not just English overall. I agree, right? You can be, and I'm not saying this. There are other opportunities where you can do well, right, without English, and there's no debate about it, right? But if there's one additional piece of advice you want, independent of nationalism, tradition, culture, politics, focused on yourself. This is something I'll tell you from reality. You being good in English, particularly, will help in your career. It'll help you first. Okay. And I put in a lot of disclaimers because I wanted to make sure. I've been in multiple debates around this and I've stuck my neck out. And I know this for a fact. And this has nothing to do, I wanted to emphasize the earlier points. So, anyway, so we look at aptitude, attitude, and English communication skills, and that's what we will be evaluating for people who want to join us. Skill is something which is a good to have. So if you already know a particular skill, which is in for us Java, Node, Angular, React, Python, it's a good to have. It's definitely good to have, but not necessary. We that's something which we can train. Skill is the easiest thing to train. The other three are difficult for us to train, right? Attitude, to it'll have to be you. You know, kar sakta hu is only you can get it done. It is your internal motivation, internal drive to make sure you can do things which you want to do. Aptitude is something, again, over a period of years, right? Communication very difficult for someone like Coditas to teach. So again, something which you have to drive. Skill is the easiest thing for us to teach, and we will teach that. So that is just to answer the question around what will we be looking for. The process around this whole thing will be communicated to you by your placement officers. So we intend to have a 6 months internship next year, Jan to July, and those who do well go into the permanent role at Coitas and join our team. Right. So it is a internship placement. If you don't do well in the internship, which is totally you're doing, right? We want everyone in the internship to join, and we generally do that. In fact, historically, most of the folks who've done the internship with us have joined us full time. Unless you screw it up very badly, you yourself are not interested and you're not able to cope up or something, we may not confirm you as a permanent. But in general, most people who join us as interns get confirmed into larger roles and into the permanent role as called as team members. Yeah, maybe yeah, I've spoken a lot, and I just wanted to convey high level things at this intention. I wanted all of you to know that, you know number one, Coitas focuses on building software the right way. We are a great platform to start your career. You can check with anyone on that. We are genuinely focused on that. We are a people first company. We want to make sure that our team is always first in learning and growing. Our team is our family, and I want to make sure that our family is always growing, right? And I, of course, this is me selling Coditas right now, but I know who we are, and this has been us for the last 7.5 years. It's not going to change, right? We've achieved immense success, again, not being humble about it, but that's the reality. Not because of anything else, but because of our belief in building software the right way, the clean way, and providing value to our clients. That's never going to change. That's who we will continue being, right? uh, I hope I give you some picture about Coditas. Hope I give you some picture about career options. I hope internship, and you get a lot more information. So one thing I'll totally recommend, which you can do even right away, is follow us on our social media. One thing in your career you should all be doing. Uh, in India now, one of the most popular social media platforms for career is LinkedIn. Not India, globally. In fact, that's the only social media platform for professionals. You should be on it. It's this stage, a lot of you may not be on it, but I totally recommend you join LinkedIn if you're not on LinkedIn. Follow Coditas page. Coditas page constantly has a lot of updates around multiple things, including this process a little bit. I'm very active on LinkedIn myself, right? So everything I spoke about and much more, I've written about a lot more things around technology, around work, around entrepreneurship, around. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. Do not send me a connection request because I've exhausted my connection. LinkedIn only allows 30,000 connections. I exceeded 30,000 connections a long time ago. But there is a follow option, so you can follow me. So you can follow Coditas and you can follow on LinkedIn. Then, of course, we are active on Facebook. Your generation is no longer very active on Facebook, but whoever is on Facebook, we have a Facebook page, Insta page, we have an Insta page, we have a Twitter page. Of all the platforms, of course, we are ourselves most active on LinkedIn because it's a professional platform. So totally recommend right away as you speak. Just Google us, follow us. You can go and check out our career pages. You can go and check out some of the photos over there. You can our social media has a lot of photos about our team, our culture. We love having fun and doing the work the right way, right? So that we have regular, as in pandemic has had constrained a lot, but before that, regular parties, regular going out, to camping, trekking, overnight stays, all that was something we were doing very regularly as teams, right? And including in office events, in office everything was celebrated. All events were celebrated very well, right? We also did a lot of contribution to CSR. Every Republic Day, we donate blood. Our teams have been involved in donating food and all that. So a very well-rounded organization. We have a in-house band which is really good. We have people who play instruments, people who sing really well. Some of them are professional singers. They have their albums on YouTube, and they're working with Coditas. And we as Coditas totally encourage that, right? That's something which is part of our company, it's part of our culture. We want to make sure that people have individual aspects beyond their own career and profession, which we want to highlight, and that's because they are who they are because of that, and that's something we totally encourage. So please follow our social media platforms. That's where you get to understand the real us, right? Go through all the different channels, go through the old posts. I myself, as I mentioned, I've written a lot about a lot of my philosophies around technology, around communication, around employment, about your productivity, around efficiency, entrepreneurship over there. If you're not on LinkedIn, I have a blog which is simply mitul.bid. That's the URL, right? My full name, right? I like to brag about it because I think it's one of the best URLs out there. Just my name, mitul.bid is the URL. No .com, no .in, just mitul.bid. That's my blog. A lot of it, what I write in LinkedIn is copied over there, so it's slightly lagging behind. So LinkedIn has more updates than the blog right now. I have to update the blog. It hasn't been updated for some time, but a lot of content is there as well. That's it. And then feel free to ask any question. I'm assuming some of you were asking some questions while I was speaking. I've not been monitoring that. But Alicia, do you have any questions which I didn't answer, which I can answer right now?
Hey, hi Mitul. First of all, thank you so much for all the insights. Yes, we do have some questions, though now as we have come to the Q&A part. So our very first question is from Suman. So she asked, what are the different technologies Codatas works on?
So as I mentioned, we are as such technology agnostic, and I don't want to particularly say that we work on a particular thing, but because of the history of work we've done, we've become strong in a few areas. So the largest stack of technology which we today have is the mean MERN stack, which is Angular, Node, React. The JavaScript full stack is the largest. So most of the projects in the largest team is over there. We work on Java, .NET, Python, Ruby on Rails on the backend, front end Angular, React, Vue. Mobile, we're doing both, as in we're doing pure native Android iOS, we're doing React Native, we're doing Flutter. We used to do a lot of hybrid, but that's no longer there. We used to do a lot of PWAs, that's no longer there. I think those are outdated, and we don't have any active projects over there. Cloud, we are all the four major clouds: AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, Alibaba. We are working on all the four clouds. We have deployments on all the four clouds, certified folks on all the four clouds. In terms of data analytics, BI, ML, AI, we have projects on those as well. And other than that, we are also doing UI, UX, and project management, and business analysis additionally.
Sure. So the second question is, what is the growth path an employee can expect in Coditas now that Coditas is growing so fast?
So it's growing so fast, but there's a lot more room left to grow, right? So we are today 750, right? In 5 years, we want to be 10,000. Okay, so you can imagine whoever joins us will still be the top 10%. So this the growth path is very good, and this is solid growth, and this is fundamentally sound growth, which is based on a solid foundation. We are not a company which is not profitable. We are not a company which is not structured well. Everything is done well. Right? We are now on a path where growth is the next thing. Right? We've laid the foundation. We've built the pyramid. The structure so well that the next path is just growth. So whoever joins right now will be on the accelerated growth path. Right. So assuming you join today, you'll be still the top 10, 20%, and this that means immense opportunities for anyone who's about to join right now.
Okay. So the third question is, if anyone is weak in coding but has a strong management skills, how they can flourish in Coditas?
So, as I mentioned, right, our training program assumes zero coding knowledge for most of the courses, right? And the internship right now is intended towards people who want to become coders, right? If you want to go on a pure managerial path, which does not involve any technology, then of course this internship is not for you. I'll be very honest about it. Right? So we are not looking to hire pure managers. In fact, pure managers as a concept does not exist anywhere in the world. Okay, every manager will finally have to have some skills, right? In a software company, your skills have to be largely around technical, right?
Yes.
Then there are specialized skills which may not necessarily be technical, but they still require skills. So you can't be pure play manager. In pure play managers as a fresher is not something I'd recommend. I'd recommend you get some real skills additionally. Not that management is as difficult; it's a really good skill. You being a manager, a leader, you're an organizer, someone who does overall well at a leadership position is something is a very positive, but that cannot be your key skill. That cannot be
Yes.
your key strength. You need to acquire the real skills as well for you to be able to grow further. So right now the discussion is largely around software developers interns. We do have other programs where we do project management programs. We do have UX programs, which will be separate. And if you're following us on social media, you'll get those updates. But this specific discussion right now is around software developers. We want to get as internship in the Jan batch.
So, uh, okay, so what is the scope for machine learning in Codatas? As we are growing so much, what are your future plans in machine learning or artificial intelligence?
So yeah, unquestionably, artificial and machine learning are going to grow in the world, and the demand is going to increase. And at Coditas, we already have a very strong unit in machine learning and artificial learning and data science overall. And like I mentioned it's I don't particularly give any differentiated view on a particular area. All areas are growing equally fast. Right, so it is finally dependent on your choice, right? And I will go ahead and say that even in the market and the industry, what will work best for you is where are you aligned with your passion and your strengths, right? Do not go by just saying, everyone's going for ML and AI, I'll go for AI and ML. What are you good at? What do you enjoy? That's actually an answer which is more important for you right now to answer before you answer that. And whichever thing you are good at, if you become the best in it, you'll do really well, independent of the technology framework. You follow your strength and passion, automatically you'll get the right opportunities. There's nothing stopping it. So at Coditas, we have all opportunities open. So if you think you are really good at AI, ML, data science, we do have those options as well. Yes.
Okay, and so another question is from very much viewer candidates stating that what are your plans for expanding, and how do you desire to expand, and what time you will be expanding soon?
Yeah, so we have largely grown organically and we've grown very, very responsibly, right? So we will not expand for the sake of expansion, right? We will grow organically and grow as per what allows us to be responsible, right? So today, when you're, for example, when I talk about myself, I am now responsible for 750 families at
Yes,
least,
yes.
right? I cannot make haphazard decisions just for the sake of growth. What is growth, right? Growth has to be for us first. So it will be a responsible growth. But at the same time, from a planning perspective, we have a really aggressive plan. But it will always have to be undergo reality check. Can we afford it? I will, can we sustain it? So, but to answer your question, we want to be a multi-city, multinational company. So today we are primarily Pune, but we want to open up offices all over India and all over the world. So we already have now offices in Dubai and US, but it's going to expand into other continents and other cities. Uh, in India, we want to now open up. So we're just setting up a small office in Mumbai as we speak, and we want to grow further across other cities in Mumbai, in India as well. So we want to expand the technology footprint. We want to expand the domain footprint. All will be done in the right manner. We don't want to just grow for the sake of growing, right? Growth has to be for a reason. So the reason we are growing today is because our team needs to grow. Our team members need to become leaders, and they need to have people who they will lead. So it's a natural progression. We're doing really well. The current numbers are really, really strong. We are very profitable. We don't need any funding from anyone. We have a very good, strong cash flow. So all things are positive as we speak today, and the growth path looks very good. So the growth is across all technologies, across all domains, across all cities, geography. So it's a very good twin scenario right now for us.
Okay, so the last question for today is how do you do your image management? Being a CEO of a multinational for a big company, how do you do your inner management? How do you manage your time? And what do you give advice for the same for the fresher candidates?
How do I do what management?
Inner management. I mean to say, how do you manage your own time? handling a
My
big
own time.
company like this? Yes.
Yeah, so my own time, I'm learning. I'm honestly learning, right? And I try to align myself into things which A, need attention, and B, which I'm also good at, right? And I'm learning to delegate, right? So there's a lot of learning. The largest company I work for is Coditas right now. So I've not learned this from somewhere else. I am also learning like all of you, and it's very important for me to keep on evolving, right? When we were a five people company, I used to do different roles. I used to play different functions, right? Alicia was, or HR was recruitment, no one was there. I used to make the calls, right? There was no accounts, right? At 10 people were different, 50 people were, 100 people were different, at 500 people were different. So I keep on need to change and delegate out functions, delegate out roles. Delegation and getting the team to pick up roles is very, very important, number one. At the same time, I want to keep on focusing on things which matter to me. I want to be able to talk to all of you. Right today, actually, I'm not getting time to do that. I'm not able to talk to a lot of people who are come joining Coditas because of my constraint. But I envision that my role to be more of being around people, being around and driving the vision of the company. I don't want to be necessarily, we can always get people to drive other roles and who are more. I'm more of people person. I want to be more of a mentor. I want to be more of a guide. I want to more drive the vision. So that's what I want to try to align my time over a period of time. I'm doing that. I'm trying to do that. Uh, Time management is something I'm also learning, so I'm not the right person to give you advice. But it's worked out well for me. As I mentioned, I give a lot of importance to work-life balance for the entire team. Right? I don't want to just grow the business at the expense of people's time for their family or people's time for their passion. So I want to make sure that your people at Coditas are not spending more than required time at Coditas, right? And within Coditas, I want you to be super efficient, right? When you're in office, spend time on your work, reduce distractions. Then when you're at home, do what you want, right? Be focused in your work when you're doing things, right? And that's how my simple philosophies work. But yeah, it's something I'm also learning, and it's an evolving topic for all of us.
Yes. Okay. Mitul, that was the last question. Thank you so much for answering all
Also,
these
one thing I
questions.
wanted to do was, I spoke about how our clients are, you know, our salespeople, right? How our clients are about. I'd like to show everyone a video right now, which the video is, around a client of ours was in a podcast in US with another influencer, right? And of course, we were not involved. There's nothing about us, but this is what they said. You want to? One second. Prasad, are you there?
How many engineers are the 33?
None.
You have
None
no
whatsoever. I'm the closest thing we got. That our software engineering team is out of Pune with a company called Coditas, and I've been very, very close with them through the years. So we have about 30.
Spell it. Coditas. Can you spell that?
Coditas, Coditas. Yeah,
Interesting.
It's run by,
Coditas.
run by a gentleman named Mitul Bid. It's the best leading edge software development firm on earth, running out of Pune, India.
Great. So, Prasad, can you get me?
Thank you, Mitul, for sharing all these insights.
Yeah. So, yeah, Prasad, can you? Yeah. Thanks. So, I hope all of you just got a glimpse of what I meant, right? This is what pride is for us, right? Our clients are in a podcast speaking about us and calling us the best leading edge software development firm on earth, right? And this is a client saying for whom we are working for the last 7 years, right? And this is all our clients. This is the pride, as I mentioned about the carpenter, right? This is what gives you the real happiness, right? And this is the who we want to continue being. We don't need a sales team. We don't need to talk about ourselves when our clients are talking about it. And after this podcast, we got, so if you get a chance, Google up Nathan Latka. He's a super famous influencer in the SaaS world, right? After just this one statement, we got tons of business inquiries. Of course, we could not take most of them because we are already busy with our existing clients. But this is what building software the right way, creating value for clients results, and that's what you should aim for individually. So you should aim for value creation for yourself first, and value creation for people you work with, and automatically things will take care of. A very simple example of how value creation should be genuine. It should not be made up or jugadified or politicized. All right, sorry. Just wanted everyone to see that video. Thanks, Alicia.
No, 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 no. Okay. So Thank you so much, Mitul, for sharing these insights with us for the company. And I hope you all enjoyed our pre-placement talk and understood the vision and the mission of the company. As Mitul has already requested you all to please, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Mitul, obviously, for a great company updates and IT insights. At the same time, I want to inform you all that very soon we are all going to start our placement for Internship Batch 2023. So, for further updates, be in touch with your placement managers or hiring managers for the same time. We'll be soon connecting with you all for the internship part. Lastly, I want to thank you everyone for joining us today and Mitul for giving us his valuable time and sharing his wisdom with us. Thank you so much, Mitul. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.
Good evening. Bye bye.